Hello, storytellers, and welcome back to another Isaac Cinnamon stream. How are you all doing today on this lovely, shall we say, Wednesday? Yes, we're all in agreement on that. Let me quickly check to see if audio is coming through and working. Shall we say Wednesday? Sounds good to me. My music didn't want to work for a second there, but other than that, I think we should be good to go. Which means that we're going to get right into what's really important, which is Wordle. You know, everything always comes back to the Wordle. I guess I could zoom in a little bit there. Yeah. How do we feel about that? Feel good? Is everyone doing all right today? It is a little bit rainy where we're at. It's the first time it's rained in a while. But I always find, well, not always, but when it's been a while, I find that rain is good for the brain, especially the thunder rolling, get that kind of calming, peaceful vibe. Also, I was listening to lo-fi Undertale music all day. So, you know, it's been a nice work session. Wando. Well, yesterday the word was macho, which I'm gonna do again. No, I'm gonna do nacho just to be different. Okay. Though I will say, when I went to go get some lunch, it was, you know, about to rain really hard, and there was like a lot of lightning, like in the area, an almost concerning amount. It was like really, really close by, and when we were going in, it was, you know, it was striking, and within less than a second, like, it was right on top of us. So thankfully we got inside, but that was a little scary, and I was like, what if we actually got like struck by lightning right now? What would happen? Hopefully we would be okay, but you never know with these kind of things, you know. PayPal. Paybe. Pale. Why am I trying to do? What am I doing with my life? That's the question. Sometimes you need a heart-to-heart with yourself, where you're just like, hey, me, what are we doing today? You know, why do we spend our whole day watching YouTube? You know, but we got important work to do. What's going on here? What is up, Joan? Is that how you spell your name, or is it like Hoan? Forgive me. Welcome to the stream. Trying to solve the Wordle. It's going swimmingly. Well, right now I'm solving the Wordle, but for the most of the stream, I am currently developing a TV show pilot for a show that we are calling Soul Reader, about this investigative reporter who is following the case of his father who just died. And he has the ability to, either when he touches someone or when he's near someone, to feel their intent, to feel their desire, basically. And he uses that to his advantage. So we're kind of developing that, and we're going to do some world building today on this lovely Wednesday, which it absolutely is. It's Wednesday, 1000%, and yeah, I'm feeling really excited about it. It's been developing nicely over these past few streams. We've done some character work the past couple, and now we're diving more into like what the world is, what forces are at play in this bigger mystery. That way we're just getting all these different tools and pieces as we get closer and closer to actually writing the dang thing. But yeah, welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you here. Are you into writing, or have you watched anything lately, read anything that's inspired you? I'm always trying to stay inspired when it comes to that kind of stuff. Also, what is this dang thing? Walkie-talkie. I hope it's interesting. I hope it sounds like a cool idea. But yeah, we use these streams to kind of brainstorm. You can use it as a study session for yourself. We're here to hang out, collaborate, share ideas, and hopefully be creative together, because creating in a vacuum can be hard sometimes. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes you need that. But I always find bouncing ideas off of others really helps me in my kind of process. And usually I do the Wordle much faster than this, but I'm like dragging my feet here because I want to get it right immediately. Let's try walkie. Not in the word list. Let's try something else. Balmy. Sure. Oh my goodness. Were you here for that? Did you just see that? Holy cow. Out of nowhere. That's what we're talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Sweet. All right. Let's catch the next game. I'm gonna quickly beat these these next ones. We need more. Different song. There we go. You're here to learn a bit about how other people do world building. Nice. Yeah, you know, in exploring my own creative process, I'm figuring out how how it's gonna develop, especially in this, like, this show idea has like a much more of a mystery vibe, and so it's like, how do you like build the layers of what you're gonna reveal and make it cool. Now, it's not as fun world building in the sense that we're not like in a fantasy type world and like making up things from scratch. It is grounded in reality, but there is a bit of a supernatural element that we're going to want to explore with that too. Adjectives that rhyme with sheesh or pitch. Sheesh or peach. Okay. Colossal marine animal filmed in its natural habitat. Squid? For the first time in 2025. Whoa. I'll have to look that up. Like some caterpillars. Hey Jacob, what's up? Welcome back. Some spouses. Wives. Yeah. Bill's time traveling partner is Ted. Bill and Ted's adventure. Letters meaning don't click this in public, not safe for work. You can take this job and shove it. I quit. Feature of a winding road is a curve. Added to the payroll is wired and hired. Yes. And Dryer's ice cream on the East Coast. Adjective niche or niche, and like some caterpillars, they are furry. Nice. Sub 2 minutes, not too bad. I was talking a bit through it, but we got niche, squid, furry, wives. I want to look this up. Colossal squid footage. Oh, this was 3 weeks ago. Wait. Is this real? Colossal squid first live observation. Hold on.
Although humans have known of the colossal squid, Mesonicoteuthis hamiltoni, since 1925, this is the first confirmed live observation of one in its natural habitat.
Whoa.
Researchers filmed the young colossal squid at nearly 600 meters depth near the South Sandwich Islands.
600 meters.
The young glass squid hovers steadily as its transparent body rotates slowly, providing excellent views of the slender internal organs and large, highly reflective, iridescent eyes.
Eyes?
Pairs of
Where?
curved
Wait. Are the eyes glowing?
Its transparent body rotates slowly, providing excellent views of the slender internal organs and large, highly reflective,
It looks small for the name colossal squid. I'm gonna say that.
iridescent eyes. Pairs of curved hooks are clearly visible on the clubs at the ends of the two long tentacles, and the clubs are long and slender, with relatively small hooks giving way to small suckers about 2/3 of the way along the club. Hooks are also present in the middle section of each of the 8 arms, which is the defining feature for Mesonicoteuthis and is the basis for the genus name, meso meaning mid, onycho meaning hook, and teuthis for squid. Large specimens of colossal squid do not resemble typical glass squids, but in this footage, their similarity to other family members is clear. The red coloration of the arms and large rust-red chromatophores on the mantle suggest that the animal can switch between transparent and opaque.
The animal can switch between being see-through and being opaque. Also, yeah, Sandwich Islands, what?
Witnessing this first encounter, documented as the Schmidt Ocean Institute's remotely operated vehicle Sebastian descended through the water column, is truly a thrilling experience.
Gosh, dude, imagine the guy that's behind the camera, you know, and I know he's probably in like a tank or something, or like a submarine or something. Like it's maybe even like a remote control camera, but like someone is down low to get that. The ocean is scary. The ocean is scarier than space, and no one can convince me otherwise. Okay, like that's just a fact, and it's a scary fact. That's cool though. All right, let's keep moving on. Let's get our connections, folks. Add to our streak. We're trying to get purple. We're trying to get our order of purple, blue, green, yellow. So let's take a look. We got pen, cup, joy, wick, chop, candle, ocean, dice, yard, pencil, author, bond, compose, Jones, scorecard, write. Okay, so far I see compose, write, pen. These are things you can do, like you can pen something, compose, write something, like a book or a piece. You can also pencil, maybe, but pen and pencil also feel like they go together. I don't know, but these kind of feel like they go together. We'll keep them in a little pack for now. I'm thinking James Bond. I'm thinking Indiana Jones, the Kraken's brother. Yeah. We got Jones here, which makes me think of Indiana Jones. Yard, chop, wick, bond, scorecard. Scorecard and dice, they feel like they go together, right? Like they feel like pieces of Yahtzee. Candle. Dice, bond, joy. Ooh, this is a toughie. Okay, we got ocean. How do these connect? Ocean, cup. These things carry water. I don't see anything else that carries water. Candle and wick go together, but I don't know. Like they both burn. Oh, I'm sorry. The music was still really loud. I apologize. Bad streamer. Let's see. Joy. John Wick, James Bond. Okay, wait a minute. Indiana Jones. And one more. Frank Oh, yeah. Who's the guy from the Ocean's movies? Is his name Danny Ocean? Ocean's movies. Danny Ocean. Yeah, that could be something, because they're all like, I mean, they're all movie protagonists, the last names of them, right? I feel like that works. And so you put that with pen, write, pencil, and compose, you're left with candle, dice, joy, author, yard, cup, and scorecard. Author, scorecard, dice, candle, oh, and chop. Oh wait, you can chop something, you can dice something, you can cup something. Candle. It is literally raining outside. Hold on. I think what we need for this, I need to put it up here. What we need is a little bit of ambiance. Get some thunderstorm ambiance in here, because that's what we like to hear. There we go. That coming through. Is that too loud? I don't know. We'll have it in the background. Distant background. Anyways, back to where we were. Scorecard, yard, author, and joy. I feel like we've got something wrong here. Let's try it. No, not even one away. Okay, that means we're in a bad place. Let's do the ones that we think we know. Like, I feel like this is good. Yeah, heroes of action movie franchises. Cool. That was only the blue, though, wasn't the purple. Let's see if this is one as well. No, but it is one away on that one. Pen, pencil, compose, write. Author. You can author something. No, still one away? Oh, shoot. Oh, no. You can pen something. I don't think you say you really pencil. Okay, commit to paper. Yeah, that was close, but we still are one away. So I'm thinking the scorecard and the pencil and the dice all have something to do with each other. And the cup, it is Yahtzee. Gosh. It is Yahtzee. I literally said Yahtzee, didn't I? What is this last one? Handle, stick, chopstick. What is a joystick? Joystick? That's not inappropriate, is it? Success. We're not gonna talk about that. We're just gonna move on to the strands, okay? It's fine. It's fine. Everyone relax. Okay. Well, fancy that. I'm seeing double Z's here, and that means something. Snazzy. Okay, these are different ways. I think they're gonna be different ways of saying fancy, you know? Like Valorant. You probably can't hear that because my mic's too good, but that was thunder out there. Holy cow. So you're snazzy, you're looking savvy, Valoon, lavish, yes, elegant should be up here. I just feel it in my bones, but I don't see it in my eyes. Let's see. Goont. Tagoon. Tanny. Litany. Well, fancy that. Lavish, snazzy. You're looking. The X is a curveball. X is interesting. Lead. Trucks. True. I'm not using a hint yet. We're not that desperate. Truest. Debt. Tracks. There's another X. What's going on here? Well, fancy that. Don't you just look dashing? Dashing? Through the snow? You look lavish. You look avant-garde, my darling. Ox. I still feel elegant, but again, it's not coming through where it needs to. Yant. Trud. Shooby dooby. Dune Part 2. Don't do it. The Met Gala recently happened. Maybe they're playing off of that. There's some crazy looks at the Met Gala this year. Saga. There's a lot of V's too. I'm not taking advantage of the V's. Vagrant? No. Gavant. I don't know enough good words. Dex. Sexy? Nope. Extravagant. Wait. Extravagant. That word was like coming to me, but I couldn't like place it. Shoe. Well, this is interesting. It goes up into the double O, so we know a word ends with oo, do. But we don't know which way that goes. Henny. Yinny. Extravagant, lavish, snazzy, overt, do, shooby do, hing, shing, nad, addy, addies, naddy, nope. Chat, any ideas? Relish. Oh, that would work if there was an I up there. But also relish is a condiment. Yawks. Extravagant. Shoe. Ingy. No, it doesn't work. Doesn't work, I tell you. I still... Dashing, elegant. Rescue. I'm gonna use a hint. I'm copping out. Gaudy? Okay, I did not know that word, to be fair. What does gaudy mean? Gaudy, meaning... means extravagantly bright or showy, typically so as to be tasteless. Oh, so it's like a negative sort of connotation. I see. Interesting. 1 second here. Yes. Gaudy. Okay. What else do we got here? What's the word, Jonah? We'll put this back up. Give me some light on my face. Shod. Annie. Shinny. Shiny? Oh, wait. Ooh, shiny? That's the spanogram. Gosh, that's so stupid. Oh. Ooh, shiny is the category. Kind of got that, but what's going on here? We got 2 more words in this little quadrilateral going on here. Rue. I feel like it's gonna be some dumb, like there's gonna be one where I'm like, oh, that's so obvious, and one that's like, I've never seen those combination of letters in my life. Dexert. Exoret. Dexeret. This is tough. Reten. Alright, hint. Oh, deluxe. Yeah. And Natural. Ornate. Some tough words in that one. Got it done, but had to use 2 hints. So, you know, could have been a lot better. Could be worse. Let's see here. Oh, is it not gonna let me go back? Let me go back, please. Nope, my button stopped working. Guess we'll go like this. Okay, there we go. Yes, yes, yes. Got that out of our system, in our system. Got a little warm up. We're gonna jump pretty quickly into just the writing today. We're not gonna do too much more preamble. I did, however, want to talk about one article that my mom sent me that I thought was really interesting. However, I will say I need to throw up a quick spoiler alert, because I'm about to talk about the Thunderbolts, and I'm about to spoil the Thunderbolts. So if you haven't seen the new Marvel film Thunderbolts, just this is a fair warning. As long as this spoiler alert is on screen, I'm still talking about it, and I'm about to pull up an article about it. So just like come back at 4:05. I promise you I'll be done by then, but come back at 4:05. I need to talk about this for a second. So this is your chance. Spoiler alert. And by 4:05, I mean the time it is right now. I don't know what the timestamp. Come back at like 33 minutes or 34 minutes. Okay. So here's the situation here, right? Is we have this movie, The Thunderbolts, and I talked about it. I gave my review on it last time. I got sent this article, and I was telling you that I was upset about the fact that in the first scene where they're all getting together, they kill off Taskmaster, which was one of the characters I was most excited for, along with Yelena and Alexei. I was really excited, and I was like, why did they do that? Why kill off that character? Like, she was in all of the branding, she was in the poster. Like, why do that? And it didn't make a lot of sense. There was no emotional payoff. Well, apparently the screenwriter of Thunderbolts didn't know that this was going to happen. He had written a story and a subplot for Taskmaster where Taskmaster doesn't die, but she's in the whole movie. She stays there the whole time, and she like grows as a character. It wasn't until he watched like an early cut of it that he was like, hey, that's not the movie I wrote. So I was reading through here a little bit, that the writer of the movie, Eric Pearson, he said, it was decided after my work, when I sat down to watch the first cut, one thing was totally different and shocked the hell out of me, and it was that. Everything else, I was like, yeah, that's the movie I wrote, but that decision, ... He revealed that in the final draft of his script, Taskmaster survived the whole movie and was the center of a pretty big subplot, which involved like him bonding or her bonding with Ghost as people who had been like controlled in labs and controlled in that way. And it was like how to break free, be your own person. Like it was that own character subplot. And they just killed her. For some reason, even though they put her in all the branding, they killed her. They were like, he's talking about like they had a running joke with her because she had like this memory loss thing, like all this stuff. And then the director apparently was the one that like led this decision to, instead of make the script do something different, where they were like, we felt like a movie like this needed something like that, where you're like, okay, if they'll do that, they could do anything, you know, and you don't really know exactly where the thing is going to go. It needed a bit of a shock or surprise, which maybe that's true. Maybe you needed that, but it had no emotional weight, and it just really, I'm wondering if there was more behind the scenes with like the actress and her not wanting to continue to be on the project. I don't know. But I thought this was really interesting and an example of how sometimes this works in the industry, where like the screenwriter, they buy the script, or the studio buys the script from you, they buy the rights, and then, you know, they have the freedom to go in and change whatever they want. which is crazy, but that's, that's how it goes sometimes. So just something to think about, and I thought was really interesting, and it makes a lot of sense based on how the movie went. It makes a lot of sense that there was more there, and it was just some weird executive decision to cut that out, basically, and not have to deal with it. But yeah, so all aspiring screenwriters, beware, because that's the reality often, and it's part of what we got to deal with. But that being said, that is our news section. We are going to jump fairly quickly right into the meat of today. I'm going to give, our quick recap of what we've done so far, and then we're just going to spend, I don't know, next 2.5-3 hours really diving into this world that we're building for Soul Reader. So let me change my building. Let me change my little texty 2 here. You ever get the feeling that there's infinite things to watch and play and listen to in the world, and shows and TV and games and everything? Like, there's just so much that is so good that you're just never ever going to get to any of it. Like, I don't know, there's so many things where I'm like, oh, I really want to watch that. It's not just like, oh, a friend recommended it to me, I should get to it. It's like I've got several things where it's like, oh, I'm like in the middle of watching that, or I'm in the middle of playing that right now, and I just like, I get caught off of it, I get out of the loop, and other things catch my attention, and it's like, man, if I could just focus and watch everything that I need to, but it doesn't work out like that, unfortunately. Like, I'm trying to watch and do a couple things right now for like inspiration for Soul Reader, but it falls on the back burner, and it's just, man, why does that happen to us? Also, side note, why is the window I want not popping up? Can someone answer that for me? No? Okay. Sometimes things just don't like to work, They don't work, and they're not nice. What is a movie everyone is excited to see while I'm trying to solve this problem? What's a movie coming out this summer or soon that you're like, I gotta see that? I'm excited for a couple of things this summer. I'm excited for the new Jurassic World, even though, the past few have not been great. I am excited for that. I'm excited to see what they do with Lilo and Stitch. I have mixed feelings about live action remakes, but overall it looks pretty good. All right, I've got it here. I've got it, and we're coming back. Here we go. Nope, my buttons don't work. Boom, Soul Reader. Let me give the quick recap of where we are so far. So we started brainstorming ideas. We came to this idea about a son who's an investigator, and that was our starting point. We then decided that we wanted to give the son the ability to read souls, and we're still kind of defining that. We did some groundwork on defining that, but we're following the story where this guy's father has died, and he's now got to take care of his mother again and his son, and also he is an investigative kind of reporter, journalist guy who's used his soul reading skills in the past to help him with some big cases. But his father dies. He's dealing with that until he gets a case that comes across his desk where he's like, oh, my father was actually involved with this. So now he's trying to get to the bottom of what's going on there, and he finds his passion for that again. And we filled in some characters. He's got his dad, who is a big relationship here. He's got his stepsister and stepmom, who he's close with, and then his son, who he's figuring out how to be a father to. And then, yeah, we started defining our characters. Samuel Reed is our protagonist. He is our sole reader. And his sister Mare, his mother Nadia, his son Hudson, his dad Daniel, and his, some side characters, some friends, Ricky, Mr. Charles, which is the boss, or Mr. Coverton, and Boris Baker. So we also did some this or that. So we brainstormed a little bit of an arc, if you can read any of that, and have brainstormed some story beat ideas. Like maybe he talks to his dad in his imagination. We're trying to build this like relationship here, talks to him in flashbacks. The idea that we're going to try to build is that the dad is a part of something bigger, and that he goes into like, he dies because he's a firefighter, and he goes in to save someone, which is why our main character, kind of resents trying to be a hero. But then, obviously this all happens, and he realizes, oh, there was a lot more going on here. Is this corruption in the full fire department? How far does this spread? That's part of what we're going to try to find out today. Discover for ourselves. And yeah, it's just this intriguing thriller mystery kind of thing. And we also got some ideas for what we would do like each season if we were to do more seasons. Again, we're just writing a pilot, but at the same time, it's good to have like a vision of where you want to go, especially if someone asks like, this is great, what else you got? It's good to keep that in mind as you're going. So yeah, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then we brainstorm what the ability is, because this is a big place right here where I'm really trying to hone in on this, because this is kind of the engine, the cool like concept of the show. The engine of the show is like getting to the bottom of what's going on with his father, and the bigger implications behind that. But the concept of him having this soul reading ability, like, is it supernatural? Is it just like he's a modern day Sherlock? What's the idea there? And we kind of came to an idea where, what if he has the ability to see the heart's intent? He's able to, and I wrote this bit of dialogue here, which might be a good explainer in the show. It's like I feel the essence of a person just for a moment, their intent, their hope, their motivation, the posture of the heart, the deepest desire of one's soul. So like in a moment, he's able to feel what someone wants. He doesn't get all these like facts, about who they are, unless, anything he gets from that is just straight up from his own intuition. But as far as his powers go, he's able to feel, like I wrote a silly example here where I was like, say I want a pizza, right? Like in my heart right now, I'm just thinking I want a pizza. And let's say our main character, touches me. And the question is what he hears and sees that tells him Isaac wants a pizza. So we came up with these concepts of like, maybe he hears whispers of like, eat, I'm hungry, or I want to eat, a craving. And then like these type letters come across the screen that form these like details, like cheese, hot kind of thing. I don't know. We're kind of still working on that. That might be part of our world building today. But that being said, I would like to figure out what is going on with our bigger mystery. And we'll see how well this goes, and if I kind of find out here or discover like actually it would be easier for me to start planning out the sequence of events, and then as I go create the details of the mystery. But I did write some questions here for our world building Wednesday on a Thursday, and I think that will help us lead down the right path for this. So that being said, what is one rule, or what is one rule? I shouldn't say the one rule. What is one rule that defines how this world operates differently from ours? What is forbidden, sacred, or absolutely normal here that wouldn't be in our world? What part of our world doesn't exist in this one? And then the bigger, like, what forces are at play in our guy's situation? These are really good questions, especially if I'm trying to place it in some sort of universe that straight up like just does not exist. Also, my music keeps stopping, so I apologize. Like if I was going complete fantasy here, everything comes from something in reality, but if I was basically starting from scratch, these are like good idea places to kind of start and jump off from. So what's a rule defines how this world operates differently from ours? What the first thing that springs to mind is this soul reader ability, which is up for debate because he's not like psychic necessarily. Not psychic. I think of it more as like prophetic, because he also is gonna have these like ties to religious ties in his past and his family's past. So there is this like prophecy thing here, but just for the sake of like writing it, we know that it's not really common or a thing to be able to have this strong supernatural ability, whether it grows over time or not, or if it starts out and it's already really strong. So a rule would be this, Sam's ability to read souls. Because I am trying to ground this in reality. Like there is a small sci-fi element, I would say, but it's a sci-fi element in the way that like in Severance, the concept of severance is a sci-fi element, but and there's a lot, I guess there are rules in that world that are strange because of like the bigger Kier and Lumen control on everything, but everything outside of that seems to be like an average world, if not a darker world, but how this world operates differently from ours. I mean, Sam's ability to read souls is a big one. What is forbidden, sacred, or absolutely normal here that wouldn't be in our world? That's a good question. What is forbidden, sacred, or absolutely normal that wouldn't be? Well, let's start with forbidden. What's forbidden here that wouldn't be in our world? I don't know. I saw this really weird reel the other day that was like, we should make sex illegal. And it was with the intention of like comparing it to prohibition, and like for couples that are struggling, they think that would help. Anyways, it was just a fun thought experiment, but something like that where it's a world where sex is outlawed. Let's see. What is forbidden? Well, showing weakness is forbidden. I think what the normal thing, or the quote unquote normal, again relating back to his soul reading, is like the fact that it's known, even though they don't really know how to explain it. Like his abilities are fairly known. What part of our world doesn't exist in this one? What part of our world doesn't exist in that one? Happiness. There's no happiness in this story. What part of our world doesn't exist? No tape allowed. I'm literally just looking at the objects on my desk. I'll come back to that. What forces are at play? This is what I really want to get to, you know. What forces are at play? There's some bigger crime syndicate that Sam's dad, Daniel, is caught up in. And we're gonna have to decide to what extent, like if he is also a criminal, if he's there trying to prevent this kind of thing from happening. What's actually going on here is the real question. But what do we know? What we know. Dan's a firefighter. Dan, in italics, died. I guess that would be quotes, but died in saving someone in a fire. So there's that very Big Hero 6 style, which, spoiler, sorry. I didn't say which character it is though, so you're fine. But you should watch that if you haven't. It's great. Dan died saving someone in a fire. We also know that Sam is an investigative reporter, right? Where does Sam work? That's a good question, Isaac. Thanks, Isaac. Oh, you're welcome. Now answer it. Well, Sam works for a local. He works for the New York Times. Also, where does this take place? I haven't even thought about that yet, because I'm not too familiar with any of the big cities like New York, Chicago, LA. Even though I know those are good places to film. Let's put it in Atlanta, you know, because that's where we're nearby, or that's where I'm nearby. He works. Maybe we can make up a chain, but famous Atlanta newspapers. News sources. The Atlanta Journal Constitution, Atlanta Daily World, Atlanta Magazine. Works at Atlanta, the Atlanta Daily. Daily Atlanta. Let's go places. Works at the Atlanta Tribune. What does Tribune mean? I just know it like comes at the end of. Oh, there's the Chicago Tribune, the Savannah Tribune. What is Tribune meaning? An official in ancient Rome. Oh. Chosen by the plebeians to protect their interests. The commoners, the plebeians. Works at the Atlanta Tribune. As an investigative journalist. Okay. The idea here is that whoever what's his boss's name? Charles Coverton. I don't know if I like that name, honestly. I like Coverton, but his name kind of feels too doesn't feel nice, but it feels too British. Charles Coverton. Where is he? Where is he? Mr. Charles Coverton. That just doesn't feel like a scary name. Mr. Wallace. Mr. John Wallace. Sure. Mr. Wallace. We'll see how that name feels. Mr. Wallace is his boss. Boris is his buddy. You know what I'm saying? Boris is his buddy.
Ew, I apologize.
The cool thing about doing an investigative reporter type beat is that it does leave the room to like introduce a lot of characters, and it would be really cool. I was kind of thinking this earlier today because let's go back to the ability brainstorm. I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, what if what if, like, okay, everyone's soul is different, you know, and we're really defining things that are undefinable here, but just stay with me for a moment. Everyone's soul is different, right? And kind of the way we perceive the world changes person to person. And yes, that's based on like experiences and based on like beliefs, but I think it's also just based on the individual person. Because I was like, what if we were trying to define how is he going to see and hear these things? What if it happens like differently based on the person, you know? And we might be getting like too much, but what if like a person has a very, like if a person has a very inquisitive analytical brain, maybe he'll see things more in like the numbers or the facts or the text on screen. But what if someone like he can hear someone's like soul in song? And I know I'm literally doing what Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist did, but like what if someone has a more musical brain, like, and he hears their thing in song, or he connects to them on a level? It would also be really like off-putting or strange if like or he closes his eyes and the person talks directly to him, you know? Like what if he like closes his eyes and opens it and the person is like, I want this, I need this, you know? Or when he's in this like figuring out what they want, he doesn't just get it immediately, but he has to like still even work for it in someone's head. Like if someone's stronger, they have like a bigger defense to that, you know? And you could really do some interesting things there where like you could have a character who's very like confident. Hold on, let me write down further defenses inside for stronger souls. Like what if you have a person who's super confident and like all put together, but then he like goes in and enters their soul and like they're a wreck, they're in shambles, you know? I feel like it has the potential to have some really sweet, soft moments, but it also has the potential to have like some real darkness behind it, because like, I mean, let's be completely real. Like the inner workings of a person, like the part of yourself that isn't front facing is typically the one that you're trying to hide from the world, and you're trying to not let people into or not let people see. Hold on, let me check something. You know, so I mean, that could be like, I would never want to imply that, like, you know, someone's soul is 100% one thing or 100% another, which is why, you know, maybe like him entering into that makes it too complicated. But I think also at the same time, like, that could be a really cool concept, and you could really do a lot with the characters and be like, oh, because we have a thing that we're building where it's like, you can't actually, oh, I'm out of storage space. Dang it. You can have a really interesting thing where it's like, he hasn't been able to like really reach out to his sister or his mother. He can't really read his family. But what if, like, after so long he was able to, and then like we got to see the inner workings of someone's mind? Like, it would be really cool if each episode, at least once or twice, like, and we're getting really sci-fi here, but he actually like entered the mind in a way that's kind of like 11 from Stranger Things, but it's almost like constructed out of these things that a person's soul, you know, is constructed out of. Is that making any sense? Maybe not. I don't know. Also, where did all my storage space go, guys? I'm dealing with multiple issues at once. I should just be doing what I came here to do. All right. He closed his eyes, like the person. What if he actually enters the mind of another? Or he enters this, like, this chamber kind of thing. Like, you could do a visual with that, like, maybe I'm gonna write this down. Maybe when he's close to someone, or when he's in proximity with someone, he can read their intent, read their souls from a distance, and only gets the softer details. But if he gets someone to trust him on a secondary level, he can touch them and enter deeper into their mind. And that can be part of like his powers progression, because we want it to be where it's like, yeah, he has this ability, but it kind of builds. Like, that can be part of his progression as he starts realizing, like, oh, if I get close to someone, like really close to someone, then I can actually like enter into a second space where I'm really, really deep in their mind, you know? Or their soul, I should say. What does that have to do with this bigger thing? Well, I think the bigger thing should relate to his power, you know? Whatever the dad's involved with should relate to Sam's abilities, you know? Because the more I'm developing this and thinking about it, the more sci-fi it does sound. I am a little worried, but I'm not worried. I'm worried, but I'm not, because it's really interesting. And maybe this is something I'll have to like just learn from in writing it, is like the tone of the show and genre of the show could start much more on the mystery thriller, you know, sleuthing it outside, and as it goes on, it like you know, you always have that little sci-fi supernatural element in there, but as it goes on and grows, the supernatural grows, and the sleuthing it out kind of decreases, because I mean, at a certain point, the novelty of, oh, he's able to figure this out because he can enter someone's mind, like, that might wear off. But then asking the question of, like, well, where does this come from and why is this doing this, can kind of grow more and more, you know? You know what I'm saying, dog? That would be really cool. This power grows over time. The question shifts from, how's my dad involved, to, is my dad alive, to, to, where is he? No. The question shifts from, how's my dad involved, to who, to, is my dad alive, to, how did I get this power? You know? And that's all, like, connected. Does that mean, oh gosh, I just had a thought that, like, could be really cool but kind of scares me, which is sometimes a good thought and sometimes a really bad thought, is what if the pastor friend Richard, what if he, like, is part of the, like, what if he's also lying to him? Because so far the people lying to him are his mother, well, really just his mother, and his father by proxy, but he's not really in the picture. But what if Ricky also knows something? Maybe Ricky knows something, but maybe, because I'm imagining Ricky also being similar in age. Like, I'm thinking of him as, like, a friend who used to be closer, you know, but is not so much anymore, but, like, they grew up together, basically. Oh, that could be so cool. That could be really cool. Just shake the page. Horse's buddy. Dan's a firefighter. Allegedly. I'm seeing the things build. I'm seeing it build in my mind. Because what's cool is we're starting, like, by doing this, we're starting with, like, oh, this story's so much bigger already, but then we're really going to be able to, like, strip it away and give just enough of that draw and just enough of that, what's going on here, you know, to put in, like, a first, even a pilot, let alone a first season, to then be like, oh, wait, peel that curtain back, something's even bigger, peel that curtain back, I didn't even know, what is that curtain over there, you know, like, I need to, like, put down more of what that could be, but that's like, that could be really cool. And those are some of my favorite shows, even with a show that's not like Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is not a mystery show, right? But every story, or every good story, leaves some sort of, like, question, like, as you're watching it, of, like, either what's gonna happen or who is that. Even with a show like Breaking Bad, like, as it progresses more and more, you realize, oh, this is bigger than I thought. Or maybe it's not like this was always bigger than I thought. It's either that or it's now the stakes are higher. You know, you either have to reveal that more was always at stake, or you have to gradually raise the stakes, but keep it so that even at this lower level, like, you're still very attached, you know? Boris is his buddy. Okay. So let's just spitballing here, you know? Spitballing. Whatever the dad's related to. So Dan's connected to is it an organization? Is it a group? Hold on, I just realized I said the Atlanta Tribune. I should have actually looked up if that's a thing. Frick, it is a magazine. It's the magazine. Well, we'll call it the Atlanta Tribune. So it's not copyright. We'll workshop that. Dan's connected to an organization. Or I guess it's important for us to figure out what Dan's goal is in all of this. Because we know they're trying to stop something. But what is that something? What is that greater evil? Evil. Dan's connected to an organization. Who? Well, Lumen, of course. It's Severance too. Okay. Dan's connected to an organization. Whose mission is to purge darkness. See, I don't want Dan to be an evil man, you know? Like, I don't want, he's not gonna be 100% good guy, but I want to still feel for him in the end. So whatever his motivation is, should be somewhat noble. Uh-oh. I went away from my stream. Hold on. Manage videos. Go live. I am live. I'm still live. Yeah, baby, I'm live, baby. You can't stop me. Let's see. Whose mission is to save the world through taxes. Dan's connected to an organization whose goal is... What themes are we dealing with here? Let's go back to our themes. We have themes of our main character seeing potential for evil in everyone, so he gives up on people, refuses to believe in their redemption, but if you choose to look for good, there's capacity for that. So there's that. There's truth at what cost. That's like a big thing. The truth will set you free, but sometimes it hurts. This is talking about Dan. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he worth finding? It's dealing with loss, it's dealing with family, morality, faith, deception. Okay, so how do we play that into the bigger ulterior motive? It's about morality, it's about faith, it's about deception. I guess the bigger thing is like, what are we trying to say with all this? I mean, the big thesis is in our main character here. I lost it already. The big thesis is that there's evil in everyone, but that doesn't mean there's no possibility for redemption, kind of thing. Like that's what we're trying to say. What I'm trying to say. Truth at what cost? Good guy, bad guy, worth finding. Loss, family, father, son. Morality, faith, deception. Morality, faith, and deception. That is a recipe for something special. Dan's connected to an organization whose goal is to revoke the need for faith. Whose goal is to expose truths. Okay, stick with me now. Whose goal is to expose truths in a bombastic fashion. Is bombastic the right word? I'm always looking up word definitions. Bombastic meaning. Bombastic's not a right way to say. In a thesaurus, help me out. Bombastic, please. Grandiose, histrionical, rhapsodic, balderdash, big talking, euphuistic, what the heck, flowery, magniloquent, dude, what a word, magniloquent, as in lofty, in a, I'm trying to say like, you know, in a, I guess it's a violent fashion. What's a better word for violent? Or vandalous. In a murderous, uncontrollable, passionate, savage, vicious. In a, I guess, extremist. It's in an extremist fashion. Okay. So we're dealing with truth. We're dealing with exposing evil in a way, which I think is relevant in several ways. So let's say there's this group, right? It's kind of similar to whatever the name of that group was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's also kind of familiar to if you've seen the movie Seven, how the serial killer in that, like, he's trying to send a message with, the Flag Smashers, that's it. He's trying to send a message with his killings, but obviously he's going too far to do that. Like, we could have some sort of thing here that we have this group. They are kind of like the Flag Smashers, where they are kind of this rogue, like, militant sort of thing, that is, you know, doing these like bigger and bigger acts where it's like you think that there's or I guess a better example is like the Riddler from the Batman, because he's also like trying to say something with his work, but he's also just insane. I'm also wondering, like, I'm starting to draw back from this idea of the extremist thing, only because we already have a lot of things going on. We have the whole concept of the soul reader. We have all the characters in Sam's life that we care about. We want to explore those because the character is very important in this. And then we have the engine of, where is my dad, you know? Where's my dad? I'm on my own. You know, it's very much based off that true story. But I feel like also if we throw in there, we have this like extremist, like not terrorist group, but militant group that we're also exploring. Like, is that going to be too much? It feels like a lot, you know? Maybe it doesn't have to be super public, because like what I'm imagining is that this is like, this case was brought to him because it was seen as like something low level, and like this will help you ease back into it. But then that low level case actually turns out to be extremely big for him because it's his father's involved. And then as we go in there, we can see more and more. But maybe instead of like revealing truth in like a vandalist kind of like extremist kind of way, maybe it's like some sort of in the shadows sort of deal. So we're like we're infiltrating the Atlanta Tribune. We're infiltrating the public services like police, firemen, public figures, maybe it's like a shadow sort of organization. You know what I mean? I don't know what I mean, but do you know what I mean? It's to reveal truth from the shadows. Or maybe it's like concealed truth. Maybe they're trying to conceal truth, because like Sam's whole thing is truth over everything, and that's like something his father instills in him, which is going to make it a point of conflict where it's like, how can my dad be a part of this to this degree? And maybe that's why he's had to disappear. He's not disappearing to go be with the group, he's disappearing to hide from the group, fake his own death, because this group is trying to conceal truth and he is trying to reveal truth, which makes sense why he would be leaving breadcrumbs for Sam to find him, because he knows that only his son could have the capability to get where he is. So like Dan was connected to an organization whose goal is to conceal truth into the shadows. Dan operates within that as a mole with the ultimate purpose of exposing their secrets, because that can be a good point of tension in the first season of like, was my dad a part of this? Like, was he the one that like was joined in on this and bought into this garbage? And then later he can realize, no, wait, my dad was there for good reasons, and that's why he's having to hide even though he thinks he's dead. We're gonna keep him thinking he's dead. So Dan operates within that as a mole with the ultimate purpose of exposing our secrets. They catch on, threaten to kill him, or they catch on, so he has to fake his own death for the safety of his family. And that's part of why the mom has to lie as well. Yeah, I can see like there's some definite crumbs that we can leave here, especially in this this first episode, where we can leave the crumb of my dad is involved in something, in this case, that I know nothing about. We can involve the crumb of mom knows something and she's not sharing it. And then leave the crumb of obviously whatever this power is that he has. And these are threads that we can follow throughout. My only concern is that, again, if it's too much, if it's like, if I'm trying to like get the excitement of what's going on with his dad and get the excitement of like, what is this cool ability? And it's like, what should I care about? You know, like it should feel like both of those things are connected. I kind of forgot about that part, but that doesn't really line up. Like it would be a lot better if whatever this group was, this shadow organization, was related to how Sam can do what he does. And maybe that's his father's influence of like putting that within him. But it feels like whatever they're working on could and should also apply to whatever is going on with Sam, his soul reading ability. Soul reader. Maybe it just feels like a lot right now because none of it's structured in front of me. It's just kind of like this idea and this idea, and they're like everywhere right now, and it needs to be like drawn in. Because yeah, I want to play with Sam as a character in his morality. Like the soul reader thing, yes, it's about his ability to read others, but it's also about this guy who is so conflicted in how he operates. And yeah, all of that needs to come into play. All of it. Where's his character? Hudson. Sam. He wants career ambitions. He needs emotional closure to see the potential in others. To mend his inner conflict. His inner turmoil over right and wrong. But it is good because we are sort of building this thing where it's like we're building multiple areas that are exciting. Because like the goal is like you cut away from one, storyline and you're like, I wish I was still with that, but then you're just as excited for the storyline you're about to go into. So what they did was Stranger Things, well, 3 and 4, but really 4 as all the characters were separated. Every time they cut away, I was like, oh gosh, I want to see what happens there. But then every time I was also like, oh, but I'm excited to see what happens here. I was never disappointed by a storyline I was going into or leaving, and like get me back to the real thing, But I think they do that because they bring them all like into conjunction at the end in a way. like where all of this is culminating at once. So we definitely need to like make sure we're diving into that, how to relate it to Sam's soul reading. Maybe Dan always knew this day would come, and Sam was, well, hold on. let's think about this. How old is, we're putting Sam at 33, right? He's 33 years old. We're putting the mother at 55, which means the dad is probably like he can be also 55, 56 kind of thing, which means he had his son when he was 23. Quick math. So I guess that begs the question, is how long has he been a part of this? I mean, he could have been a part of the firefighting force like for a long time, and then with how once he gets involved in the shadow organization, I think what has to happen here is Daniel has to have some element about him where some good force approached him to be like, hey, there's this shadow organization, we need your help, infiltrate through this. And so like his fire chief or someone, I don't know, like gets him in to this to be a mole when he's young, like still late 20s, early 30s. So then alongside like infiltrating this, Dan also starts raising his son in a way and experimenting with him. I don't know. But he starts teaching him with the purpose of eventually reaching a peak of power that would stop this whole thing. Like, I don't know. I'm debating with myself like how mystical I want to go with it. Lemonhead? Here, take it. I'm debating how supernatural I want to go here. That's where I'm at. Give me that lemon head. Okay. When Dan was younger, he was recruited by his chief to help infiltrate the shadow organization that was slowly creeping into power, right? So Dan joins the organization whose goal is to conceal truth in the shadows as a mole. How does it relate to Sam's soul reading? Dan always knew the day would come where they would need someone with strong abilities to read others, Like they knew they were going to need him at some point. So, Dan operates within that as a mole, with the ultimate purpose of exposing their secrets. And they catch on. So he has to fake his own death for the safety of his family. But he leaves enough of a trail for Sam to ultimately find him so they can ultimately stop it all. And that can build in the conflict of, like, if Sam reveals this, you know, throughout this time, Dan will have done things that are unspeakable. Like, he's an accessory, basically. And so Sam's gonna have to decide, like, I just got my father back, and if I, you know, he's decided all this for me. Like, I'm gonna write this down. Dan... No. Sam gets his father back. But Dan's an accessory to all of this crime going on. But Dan's an accessory to all of this, right? So, if Sam does expose the Shadow organization, along with his dad's findings, even though it was for a noble reason, he's gonna lose his dad again. So now introduces the conflict of truth and morality, you know? That could be something really cool there in the end, when and if he finds him. Okay. I like that. I feel like we need, like, a Wilson Fisk Kingpin kind of character that's, like, calling the shots for this. And maybe that character has abilities of his own or her own. The big bad wolf has abilities of their own, which adds to why Sam was trained up for this. I don't know what those abilities are yet. What's like a counter to the soul reading thing? Or I should say, what's a power that soul reading would have the strength to, like, defeat? You know? Lemon heads are flying across my desk. You want one? There you go. What is this ability? What is it? What is this ability that we speak of? I don't know. IDK. Oh, I accidentally changed it to italics. IDK. How about you? What's going on? Maybe. If there's someone calling the shots, this someone has some power to control the will. Kind of like mind control. I should say influence. the power to influence the will. Kind of like the devil. And we see a bit of like dark side, like Palpatine kind of playing here, where they attempt to coerce Sam to their side using his abilities for the bad that he's seen they can do. You know, we want to play into this fact that, like, because Sam can get in someone's head and intent, he can really use it for messed up purposes and like really mess someone up, like an anti-therapist. We should change the title to anti-therapist. Okay. I see it. I feel it. This is a little vague. Onto their goal. Where did I write that? Whose goal is to conceal truth. What does that mean? What truth are they trying to conceal? And how are they doing that with the souls they influence? I don't know. It'd be really, first of all, amazing. It'd be really awkward if this show actually got made and like people got like excited about it and they were like, theories on what's gonna happen, and I literally have like live streams where I plan out everything that's gonna happen and I basically spoil it for everyone. I don't think enough people will care to want to look at that, but if that ever were to be a thing, I might have to like private the live streams just so it's like, you know, keep the suspense. But one step at a time. We haven't even really written anything yet. We kind of are, though. We're writing good things, good ideas, good plans. So this big bad wolf has the ability to influence the will. Combine that with the idea of concealing truths, of keeping things in the shadows, of information is like danger. How did those two things go together? I don't know, man. The attempt to coerce Sam to that side using his abilities for the bad that he's seen they can do. Do it. Why is my shift not? Do it. Do it. Be cool to see how our other characters come into play here with Mare and Nadia, even Hudson. I feel like they're gonna kidnap Hudson. I mean, and I feel like that's a terrible thing, and maybe because it's so quick to come to my mind, I should do something more interesting. But I feel, as of right now, that Hudson is merely there to be kidnapped. I don't know. I don't want him to be kidnapped, but you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what's going on. the reason I want to figure out the shadow organization's goal, first of all, we should name that shadow organization, but I want to figure out the goal because it's going to help me influence which way the mystery is going to go, like what clues would be left behind. Because, you know, if their goal is to, I don't know, overthrow the government, like, and so they can, like, have no government or something, or create a new government. Like, if that's the goal, then a lot of the things we're going to be investigating should be related to, like, the government and lawmaking rooms, legislation, all that. If their ultimate goal is to, you know, eat the rich or something, like, you know, burn the class system or whatever, then they're gonna be, you know, secretly going after, you know, these billionaires or these moguls in industry. So, like, relating to the fact that we want them to, like, they're infiltrating the press, they're infiltrating the public figures, the public eye, what is that, service workers? I don't think that's the right word. Public service, firefighters, policemen, they're infiltrating that too. Like, what would be the intention of that? What truth are they trying to conceal or control? What truth are they trying to conceal, control? I don't know. Maybe. That's totally how you spell it. Maybe. Maybe. It's maybe AF. What truth are they trying to conceal or control? The truth of mankind. I don't know, man. That's a toughie. I always say write what you know. The issue is I just don't know that much. I should know more. Oh, I lost the stream again. It's still here. I'm just silly. Silly Isaac. Uh-oh. Did I stop streaming? No, I'm still here. I'm still here, baby. Can't keep me down. What truth are they trying to conceal and control? The truth of why there are so many Skittles colors. I did a test once, or it wasn't really a test, but I did a challenge once where I was like, I was blindfolded and told to eat the different Skittles to see if I could, like, actually tell the difference. And you can. I think I got 100% right, which maybe that says something about how many Skittles I eat or have eaten in my lifetime. But there are some candies where it's like the color's just there to, well, the color's just there to make you think, trick your brain into thinking that you have options. Maybe we can play into our conceal that, you know, M&Ms, right? Stay with me now. M&Ms. They have different colors, and yet they all taste the same. Why? What's the psychology there? Illusion of free will. So they're trying to conceal, but they're concealing what that relates to that? Maybe it's not even conceal, but maybe it is more the control, like, or the twisting of it. their like stance is that like there is no free will or something. But then again, that kind of goes against this whole like indecision here, where it's like, join our side. You have the potential to do good or bad, you know? But that does also play into our theme, one of our themes well, which is like people's ability to choose good over evil, or like the struggle to do that, but the fact that there is free will to do that. Illusion of free will. I feel like there's something there that could be cool. That's kind of like the TVA in Loki. It's kind of like that sort of, is it all meant to be? It also plays into the ability of influencing the will. Their goal is to make the will more susceptible to influence. The goal is to make the will more susceptible to influence. You let people think they have a choice when there's nothing the individual can do, which is not true in my opinion, but that could be like their standpoint. Okay, let me go back to my themes. Let me add free will to the themes. I like that. I like that idea. And I know, like, I'm literally the only one here now, so every time I say I like that idea is just me hyping myself up. But I digress. What does I digress mean? I say it sometimes and I think I use it right, but what is that? I digress is a phrase when someone realizes they've veered off topic in a conversation and are about to turn to the main point. Okay, so I don't think I use that right, but I kind of just use it to mean like, but I mean, I kind of use it correctly. I digress. I kind of use it to mean like, but anyways, you know, like, but I'm just kind of restating my point, or I'm talking about something that doesn't matter. I don't know. It's kind of right, but it's kind of not right. What should we name our group? How about the Fun Club? What is this shadow organization that deals with the will? It's time for hold on, let me stop the music. We need a new vibe in here. You know what it's time for? It's time for the evil organization. Gotta spell that right. The evil organization brainstorm time. Yeah. Heck yeah. Also, that rain is really loud. Or at least it is to me. Woo! Let me decrease that a little bit. Evil organization brainstorm time. Well, things we know about them. In the shadows, control the will, play mind games, care about influence, control of others. I mean, the immediate thing I compared it to was, like, the serpent, in the garden. Because, you know, the idea of, like, the sin or the fall of man, like, Satan as the serpent never, like, forced anyone to do anything. He just kind of asked the right questions that made Adam and Eve, well, made Eve, like, question God and Adam, and question that. So he kind of, like, influences the will in that way through, like, deception. So, like, serpent could be something, but it also feels like that's been used a lot for, like, evil things. Is like, you know, it's serpent, it's Hydra, it's the snake crew. Look out for the snake crew. I'll lower the rain noises just a bit. Serpent, which is of course an anagram for secretive expedition, reconnaissance. Did I spell that right? Nope. What did I get wrong? 2 S's. Got that. Secretive expedition, reconnaissance program, excluding newborn triceratops. Of course. I mean, it's the reconnaissance program. They just don't include the triceratops. I'm sorry. That's just, they're not allowed, you know. Rules are rules. Them's the rules. Serpent. Fruity. Fruit. What's the tree? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Knowledge. We got knowledge. 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 You could also just make up a name. Which of course is an anagram for never dive off flying antelopes if John Cena do a flip. You know, like that could be something. Lemon heads. They talk about M&Ms. Let's call them NNNs. That seems really bad. NNNs. You can't even say it right. That one crosses a line. That's too far. I'm sorry. I'm slapping myself on the wrist for that one. That's not what we were looking for. Serpent. Present. We have a stupid like reveal thing where it's like, oh look, here's your present, and it's like, wait, and then you rearrange the letters and it's like look, SERP. You know. Delete. Not going with that one, that's for sure. A snack. I'm a snack. I gotta get off the serpent train. If I don't want to sound like Hydra or serpent or whatever, then I gotta like... Hold on, let me look up real quick. Serpent... Evil group. Oh no. That's why I recognize it. It's from Marvel. The Serpent Society. Do they say that? Yeah, they do. The Serpent Society. Okay, well, I don't really want to do a Marvelized thing. Shield! Agents of Shield. Hydra. Didn't they also do like Saber? Is Saber Marvel thing? What if we go super like Gen Z and we make it an all lowercase name, like Cloudy Days. Dang it, autocorrect. No. It's like a running joke as they try to type their name down and it always fixes an autocorrect as like, dang it. Serpent. No caps. Present. Dang it. Dang it. Which of course stands for Secretive Expedition. Nope. Reconnaissance Program. Excluding Newborn Triceratops, but all in lowercase. You know? You know? You know what I'm saying? That could be something. That could be a thing. Is this important? Yes, it is. To me. Thank you for the question. Syndrome. I am Syndrome. I saw this strange or cool reel the other day where they were talking about the Incredibles and how Mr. Incredible kind of has this like spidey sense thing that we do see in the film, but we just never they never talk about it, because he can like sense when bombs are nearby, and he has this ability to like know before something happens that like to look somewhere. And they had a theory where it's like that's also part of the reason he turned Buddy down, Syndrome, but Buddy then, at the beginning, is because he could like sense the evil in him and that it would not go well, which I think is a cool theory. However, I also think that that kid was just annoying as heck, and he didn't want to deal with him, whether he could sense the evil in him or not. He just didn't want to deal with him. I also think it kind of falls apart because like if he could have sensed that, then why didn't he do something about it other than just like send him away? And him sending him away is what kind of started his villain arc. So like I don't know what I think about that, but I didn't know Mr. Incredible had that power, so it's cool. Will. Snaky snake. Snake eyes. Oh, that's fun. Snake eyes. That's like their calling card, but it's spelled just like that. Don't autocorrect. Okay. Which of course stands for no. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joshing. World Building Wednesday. on a Thursday. Snake eyes. Or snake, yes. Yeet. Snake, no. Or snack, no. It could also just be like, we have no name. We are a collective. And it's like, bro, you just said you have no name. The collective. The Lighteners. No, I've been playing too much Deltarune. The Enlightened. Bing. Super Gaming Texan, welcome. I gotta catch you up. So, we have been world building today on this beautiful Wednesday. That's on a Thursday. And we've been kind of talking about what we want to do with this world and really exploring, like, what is the bigger mystery at play here? Because obviously the world is still set in our world, just with a few different rules, like Sam's ability to read souls and his abilities being fairly known. But we have come up with this kind of idea where there's a bigger organization at play that Sam's dad, Dan, has been trying to infiltrate. So what we got so far is that Dan's a firefighter. Dan, quote unquote, died saving someone in a fire. Sam's an investigative reporter. We were like, where does Sam work? And I put it in Atlanta, Georgia. Works at the Atlanta Tribune. Mr. Wallace is his boss. Boris is his buddy. But the idea is that when Dan, Sam's father, was younger, he was recruited by his like fire chief to help infiltrate this shadow organization that's slowly creeping into power, right? So this organization's goal is to conceal truth, and Dan joins it as a mole to kind of infiltrate. So I was trying to brainstorm just now, like, what are they trying to control? Well, I went on a rant about M&Ms, but their goal is to basically make the world, make people's will more susceptible to influence. There's like this illusion of free will, and so they kind of stand by this thing where you let people think they have a choice, but there's nothing individual they can do. And it relates to Sam's soul reading, because Dan always knew the day would come where they would need someone with strong abilities to read others. So Dan kind of trains this into Sam. So stay with me. Dan operates within that as a mole with the ultimate purpose of exposing their secrets, but they start to catch on, so he has to fake his own death for the safety of his family. So he goes into hiding, but he leaves enough of a trail for Sam to ultimately find him so they can stop it all. And we have this like conflict there where Sam gets his father back, but Dan's an accessory to all the crime going on. So if Sam does expose the shadow organization along with his dad's findings, he's gonna lose his dad again. So we have this like conflict of morality. And then I introduce like, who's like the head person, who's this like head big bad wolf, as I've called them, on the shadow organization. And I was like, what if this big bad wolf has an ability of their own, which is also why Dan was training Sam up. And my idea was their ability should be, they have the power to influence people's wills. So like where Sam can read people's wills and what they want, this big bad wolf can like influence it to do something, you know? And then maybe at the end they like try to coerce Sam to their side, like kind of a join the dark side kind of thing, because he's seen the bad he can do. So all that being said, this is helping us build the bigger mystery that's going on here. And again, a lot of this we won't even get to in like the first season, let alone the pilot, but I think it's really important for me to have all of that laid out, so that I can come in to it with a plan, and like leaving the breadcrumbs that's like I know where it's going to go, even if the audience doesn't. And so I was just at this point brainstorming names for the shadow organization, and the best I could come up with was Serpent, which obviously stands for Secretive Expedition Reconnaissance Program excluding newborn Triceratops. I also came up with Nodophagesdof, which obviously stands for Never Dive Off Flying Antelopes if John Cena duo flip. I also came up with Serpent, all lowercase, which stands for Secretive Expedition Reconnaissance Program excluding newborn Triceratops, but in lowercase. I came up with all lowercase Snake Eyes, but it's like snake. It's either Snack Eyes or it's Snake Yes. And then the Collective, the Enlightened. So I was just spitballing names. Does that catch you up? Do you think that all makes sense, or did I just ramble? Either way, that's where we are right now. And it's exciting because it's helping me get a clearer vision of what's going on here. And it plays really well into this idea of like free will and Sam's kind of belief that like he's kind of given up on people, and he thinks people are going to choose the wrong thing every time. So he starts off kind of believing what this organization believes, but he's going to go through and he's going to realize more and more that people maybe could be good and can be redeemed. I also had this idea about his ability, because I'm continuing to brainstorm this. And again, this might be going really supernatural and might distract from the bigger story. So we'll feel that out. But what if, because we were talking, me and you, last time about how maybe he's seeing like text and stuff, and maybe he's hearing things. What if, and maybe this is something as it gets more powerful he realizes, but what if he closes his eyes, like he can touch someone, and then the person talks directly to him, you know? And maybe he can't like have a back and forth conversation. They don't know he's talking. They don't know that they're talking with him. But instead of it being like, you know, in the moment he's hearing and seeing all these things, he like cuts to this like basically like in their mind or in their soul thing, and they're like literally looking at him and saying, this is what I want, this is what I need. And the stronger the soul is, there's more defenses to that, and there's more things he has to like walk through, navigate through, or get through to get that, you know? Like, what if he actually enters another's mind, kind of like 11 from Stranger Things, but not exactly. So it's like maybe when he's close to someone, he can read their souls from the distance and only get like the text or the hearing things. But if he like relates to someone or gets someone to trust him on a second level, then he can like touch them and he can enter deeper. And I thought that would be a cool idea, because if you get like new characters with like new souls and new ways they kind of look at the world, you could have an interesting thing where it's like not every soul like works the same. Like he's having to learn a new way to like navigate this each time. Like somebody maybe is more analytical, and maybe it is that like text and numbers and facts thing. But what if someone has like a much more musical brain, and so when he has to, or musical soul, so when he kind of relates to them, you know, maybe they're a stronger soul and he has to like deal with this, you know, musical personality, you know, just finding cool ways of like expressing the soul kind of way and exploring that. So I was thinking that could be a cool way to sort of grow his power, sort of thing. We'll see if it's too much. But I think the thing that's like really stopping us right now, or is causing that hesitation of like, yeah, but what if it's too much? Like, what if, you know, we're juggling too many things? It's also because we're trying to look at this from the perspective of the end of the show. Because, you know, if you go like to the end of a full show that's had multiple seasons and you like go back and try to explain everything that's going on, it probably sounds like a lot. even though at start it seemed like something much smaller. Like Stranger Things season 1, you start with a really crazy cool concept of like, oh, there's like this horror monster, what's going on? You don't even know, like, is it an alien? Is it like a skinwalker? What's going on here? It is until like halfway through season 1 you realize it's a portal to another world. And then they just keep building of like, oh, there's more creatures. And then in this last season, there's a guy that's like running the whole thing, you know? So I think part of that is like, it will not seem like as much when we start. It's just good to know where we're going. And so it's like going crazy. Doing the second option sounds cool, but I think it will raise the budget and the visuals harder to communicate the idea. All of it does sound amazing, puts a challenge this way. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool visually. It would be maybe more expensive visually. It depends. Your mind keeps going to the idea of the tuning fork as the power. Imagine Sam's power is hearing the sound, but the villain's power is able to force people's tune to change to his tune. Ooh, I like that too. Yeah, there's like, Sam has to like attune himself to a person, and they have to like align, but like you're saying, the villain person can like throw that out of alignment. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, what should we name this frickin' group, guys? I don't know, guys. Who are you? I don't know. That's what I have to say to that. That's all. That's all I have to say to that. The tuning fork. That's the power. And maybe it's something like, the closer in tune like he is with another person, the more they can read him back, or like the less he can read them. But I guess that doesn't really make sense. How about motivation? It hides what they mean, but it's a name that, if leaked, wouldn't show that they are evil. Motivation. Or maybe the motive. That's kind of a cool. It's kind of a cool name. The motive. The motif. The hammer. Yeah. The drill. The built for tough. Nope. Hey, yo, we're the construction crew. Hey, yo, we're the wrecking crew. I'm gonna wreck it. Why am I trying to make them like Spider-Man villains? What am I doing? What am I doing? Boing. Yes, the power. The incredible power. The heel strike. The heel strikers. Ooh. We're the bruise. That's us. We're the bruise. We're the sad boys. I don't know why you want Spider-Man villains so much. Listen. fine, okay? It's fine. We're not gonna do any more Spider-Man villains, alright? We're gonna be fine. It's like not even a problem. We're gonna come up with an original idea and it's gonna be amazing for us, right? Right, guys? The Rhino! Yeah! Yeah! The Rhino! None of these have like hit me though. In a way that's like, ooh, that feels cool. You know? We are the end. The end. We are the beginning. Hey man, give me my dang lemon heads. Get out of there. Ah! They're falling everywhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for yelling at you, lemon heads. The lemon heads. What's Spanish for serpent? Serpiente. What's Spanish for snake? Serpiente. Or la culebra. Bro. The Brady Bunch. The Crazy Eight. The Matrix. The Shawshank Redemption. The Redeemers. That's kind of cool. The Redeemers. And the closest thing to that, according to Google, refers to a political coalition in the southern United States during Reconstruction seeking to regain power and enforce white supremacy. So, already a negative connotation. I kind of like that. I don't like the... I want to be clear, I don't like the fact that this group existed and sought to gain power and enforce white supremacy. However, I like that as like a modernized group that people wouldn't know, but if you were to look up, you would see, oh yeah, these are the bad guys. Maybe something that feels like we are the New World Order. Looked up synonyms of creation. What about divine conception? Dude, that's kind of cool. I like these. Like I like this not as like the group name, but as like a something they would say, you know. It reminds me of Immaculate Conception, you know, Virgin Mary, the Redeemers. But how does that apply to their group's kind of mission, which is illusion of free will? Their goal is to make the will more susceptible to influence. You let people think they have a choice when there's nothing the individual can do. So it's like people don't have redemption. We are the redeemers, you know? That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. I like it a lot. I was literally just thinking, like, I feel like I'm wasting my time putting stupid stuff like The Matrix, Shawshank Redemption, and then I was like, wait a minute, Redemption, the Redeemers. That kind of goes to show that brainstorming literally can be anything, and your mind will like pick up on stuff and be like, wait, that's something. Humans playing as gods, yeah, in a way, in a sense. It does have that like sinister kind of feel to it too. The Redeemers, which of course stands for Rhino Extraction, comma, don't ever mistake don't ever mistake even rhinos sandwiches. Emmett Rhinos sandwiches. It also plays into the face-styled stuff that this show has throughout its veins. Exactly. That's part of also why I really am digging it, because it plays well into Sam's conflict of faith. It plays well into this like morality and this like, can a person really be good if all they actually want is like selfish and evil and bad and mean? And yeah, I guess we got to go back to our theme, and we got to add redemption to it. Faith, deception, loss. Redemption. Man, we got a lot of pages. We got like 30 pages worth of brainstorming, folks. Golly gee willikers. The Redeemers. Rhino Extraction, don't ever mistake Emmett Rhino sandwiches. You got that? You got that? Okay, the Redeemers. Yeah. So to recap. When Dan was younger, he was recruited by his fire chief to help infiltrate the shadow organization that was slowly creeping into power. Dan joins the organization, whose goal is to control truth into the shadows. Control truth within the shadows. As a mole. What truth are they trying to control? M&Ms. They have different colors and yet they all taste the same. Why? What's the psychology there? Illusion of free will. Their goal is to make the will more susceptible to influence. You let people think they have a choice when there's nothing the individual can do. How does it relate to Sam's soul reading? Dan always knows that the day would come where they would need someone with a strong ability to read others, to read the soul. So Dan operates within that as a mole with the ultimate purpose of exposing their secrets. The Redeemers catch on. So he has to fake his own death for the safety of his family, but he leaves enough of a trail for Sam to ultimately find him so they can ultimately stop it all. Ultimately. Sam gets his father back, but Dan's an accessory to all of this crime going on, so if Sam does expose the Shadow Organization along with Dad's findings, even though it was for a noble reason, he's going to lose his dad again. So this now introduces the conflict of truth and morality, and the big bad wolf has abilities of their own, which is the power to influence the will, and they attempt to coerce Sam to their side. Yeah, even Daniel, meaning God is my judge, plays out how he's into a role in these human redeemers. Exactly. Thank you for that. That makes me feel like I planned that, even though I didn't, but it's true, because they're saying we're the redeemers, you know, we are the ones who redeem. And meanwhile, Dan's literal name is God is the one who judges me. God's the one who redeems me. Which is a tip for the audience and should be a tip for them. you know, if they know they were being written into a story, that Dan might not be completely on board with their side. Big Bad Wolf name idea, Tyler Madison. I'm holding off on the Big Bad Wolf for now because I feel like they're gonna be a character on their own of like, they're gonna have their reasonings for stuff, how they were brought up, and then, you know, like, I don't even know, like, maybe that person should be someone that Sam already knows, you know, who's also been lying to him. I don't know, but there's something there. I think we should name this. We should name the Big Bad Wolf this. Yeah. Wonderful. The Redeemers. Yeah. Yeah. They're in the shadows. They're the Redeemers. William. Or Willem. William. Okay, that's wonderful. That's actually great. I'm only gonna go for about a half hour more here. So what should I do? What can I do in this next half hour? You know what I want to do? I want to draw. Oh, let's draw something. Let's draw this out. You know, picture this. We have a loop. We have a cycle. You know, whoop. We entrance that with another cycle, right? Like we've got the two cycles, like infinity here. On this side, we get a third cycle. So we've got these three different character arcs going on here, right? And then in the middle is like this mini sort of cycle. And maybe it won't be quit on halfway through. Yeah, hopefully. So we get this like cycle in here, right? That's kind of like the spiral cycle. And then I'm thinking like we just make this a show full of cycles, right? So like we got a cycle there, we got a cycle there. It's just like cycle after cycle, you know, cycles within cycles even, you know. That's what we're really looking at here. And then I think we have our negative character arc that goes like down and like, yeah, that's what we want. And then it like loops back around to the start of the cycle. And it's just like, woo! Oh, it makes you want to say, oh boy, right? You know, it just like, you feel happy about that. You feel excited. Oh, that's a little gross. And then you get that going there, and it's like, boom, that's our show. Don't recognize the shape. Yeah, it's like whatever, you know. It's like, get rid of that. For realsies, we need to talk about our season arc, right? We're back on this arc sort of thing. Where do we want to go in this sort of and want to say, hey, you want to join my clubhouse? The Redeemer Clubhouse. You say the magic words. We are gonna kill you. Say it with me. Where was I? Oh yes, season arc. So we have this timeline here, right? And let's say you break up a season into, what's the standard today? 8 to 10 episodes. So like, let's see, how do I do this? Wait, I should split it in half. No, I shouldn't. How do I do this? Split it in half. And then, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? Divine Conception, said as Mickey Mouse. That sounds scary. Well, listen. Whatever children may be present, I didn't ask them to come here, okay? Oh, there are children present, so I should say it. Okay, I see.
Divine Conception? That sounds like a job for Toodles. Oh, Toodles! Hiya, Mick. Oh, Toodles, we're looking for some divine conception. Can you help me out, buddy? I'll work my magic. Oh, boy. Who's my pal?
Hey, Mick, what you got going on over there?
Go, I told you to stay in the prison. I swear, so help me, I will cut your paychecks from Disney.
What are we doing? I kind of blacked out there. Season arc. So let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do have 10. We've got the 10 episodes. This stream is now M rated. Yep, they didn't even have ratings before, but we brought it to them. Okay. So, to begin, at the start, let's zoom in here. We know we know nothing. I think I need a smaller marker. Can you? Oh my goodness. Stop it. Stop that right this instant. Yeah. Get a smaller marker here. So at the start, we know nothing. We know not a gosh darn thing, right? But, where do we want the season to end? We want to know something, and I'm not gonna write just know something. But by the end of the season, we want to, uncover some truth. We gotta uncover something. We have to pull the thread and uncover truth. Uncover the maybe we uncovered the fact that there are. Here's what I was thinking also, is that as we're building oh shoot, why are you being so difficult? We want to uncover the truth. I think there's like, what did we put the idea of what the season 1 reveal was? We did. I was also thinking that there's gonna be like moles within the newspaper he works for. So that can also be a big point of reveal within the news station itself. We said Dad's gone, but related to a case, powers are low. Finish discovers the bigger group behind it and starts private investigation with sister still unresolved on powers. So with that in mind, we discover the Redeemers, right? And I am writing as fast as humanly possible. Look at the speed. Oh wow. I should go to the Olympics. He discovers the Redeemers is definitely what that says. And he also, you know, by the end, starts a company sister. Yeah. Shacha. He starts company with sister. Oh man, I am definitely not going to be able to read this later. And what was the other thing? He's still unresolved with the powers. We need some sort of tease with that, I think. But I was also thinking, like, one sec. I was also thinking that even though, like, you want to plan for, like, a much bigger story and reveal in later, you also got to make sure that, like, the season you're in is satisfying. Now, some seasons end with a straight up cliffhanger, and you're just left not knowing, and it's like, oh, how could they do this to me? But, you know, you still want some amount of, like, closure per season. And so I'm trying to think about that too. I don't just want to leave it on a giant cliffhanger. But we need whatever case he's like pursuing here. Like, he needs to think it's one thing, and it's not until he gets way down the line that he realizes it's something bigger, you know? Like, by the end of episode 1, we want him to maybe realize Dad's involved with a case, you know? Come on. Right, faster. Realize Dad's involved with a case. And we don't get much further than that. But, like, it's got to be one of the last episodes that he finds, like, you know, I keep imagining, like, this photo that he sees, like, his dad in, or sees something his dad owned in. And it's not until the end, maybe, that he gets to who's actually important in that photo. Mm-mm-mm. We know Dad's involved with the case. We know that... Oh, did we get all the way through that? Oh, we did. Let's listen to this. Yeah. Oh, it stopped capturing as soon as I did that. There it is. Let me restart that too. Okay. What else is he involved in? I don't know. Well, I think we really got to start, like, building that case out first. But we discover the Redeemers. That is horrible. I'm sorry. That is just... Goodness gracious, Isaac. Where did you learn to write? Preschool? Yeah. D-E... Oh, wait. That's not how you spell that. Everyone shut up. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's chill. We're chill. R-E-D-E-E-N-E-R-S. See? Oh. Much clearer. Where did you go? Please come back to me. discovers the Redeemers. Starts company with Sister to help take them down. He's gonna start taking them down. She's gonna write something about it. Realize Dad's involved with the case. He's involved with the case. Uh-oh, he's involved with the case. Boom! I'm not distracted. Are you distracted? I'm not distracted. He knows nothing. He realizes you had a thought. Good, because I have none. Should the main case have someone from the Redeemers involved, and what if the person was introduced him to the group? First of all, first question, yes, that's where I was hoping, or that's where I was planning, thinking we were going, is that whoever the case is related to is like directly involved with the Redeemers. And we're starting to reveal that. Now the second question, what if it was the person who introduced him into the group? I like that idea. I want to interview, like, they're going to have to interview these different people throughout, to kind of get to the bottom of certain things. Yeah, how it ties him back to the father. That does make sense. That's our character arc. Okay. Yeah. We got to build that case for sure. He's going to discover the Redeemers at some point in here, and this is where I need to like stop trying to pick a specific episode and just like put it, but at some point in here he's going to discover that discover corruption in the Tribune, the newspaper he works out. In the Tribune. Discover corruption in the Tribune, so he's gonna like kind of turn, or the newspaper that he works for is gonna kind of turn against him. Yeah. We should have a location episode. And obviously this is a decision you make when you know your budget. But I kind of like the idea of having an episode that has to be completely confined to the house, so that he has to interact more with his son, with his mom, even with his sister. And we could have like a really sweet moment there. Because part of the reason also I was thinking of doing like the bigger, like, you know, he sees a room in someone's mind and like, or the soul, and like interacts with that, is think of how like emotionally cool that would be if we've never gotten to see inside the mind of his family, and then these characters we care about, like, he's able to really enter into on a deeper level, and it's like, oh, like that would be so cool, you know? So maybe somewhere middle of the season he's like stuck inside. Stuck inside. You know. With bam. Maybe there's a hurricane that happens. Atlanta area. I know this is a Imagine graph, but does this feel like there should be a reveal in between the dad being involved and the corruption? Like, what do you mean? Maybe he begins his journey of mastering his powers, are in between them. In between these two? I mean, definitely. We need something to, like, keep driving each episode. Yeah, I think he's partially revealing more of this case, but he's also partially revealing more of his powers. So like we have somewhere in here. There's got, you know, I don't want to reveal too much about the mom knowing stuff yet, but there should be something where it's like she's having a secret, or she has a secret. It'd be really funny. Oh, this is kind of a funny idea. In the first episode, or in some episode, but it'd be really funny if he, in therapy, analyzes the therapist. Like his sister makes him go to therapy, or like originally I was thinking like maybe he goes out on a date and they start asking questions and that's when he reveals stuff about himself. But it'd be really funny if like his sister made him go to a therapy session and instead he analyzed the analyst. And it would be like, you know, this guy is not playing around and he's not really down for this kind of thing being done to him, but he doesn't mind doing it to others. Because where should we roughly put he moves from having powers to wanting to get good at them? Yeah. I mean, I think what we're trying to build also is that he uses them to his advantage when he needs to, but he's not really a fan of them, you know? Like he's not super glad to have them. Or he doesn't really know their limits, and maybe it's because, ooh, okay, hold on, go back. Let's go back to our brain blast. Hold on. No, I'm not saying that like he couldn't start thinking that, but I'm saying at the start that's where he kind of feels thank you for hold. Thank you, hold. Where's his character? Okay, I just had an idea. Where did I put he fears abuse of power in himself and others? He fears his own power because it led to the end of his it led to him splitting with his wife. I mean, think about it. If you're in a relationship where one person constantly knows what's on the other's mind but is not willing to open up himself, I think he probably resents that. And, you know, not only like fearing that power of not understanding it, but he resents it because like it's ruined one relationship. He fears that it's gonna ruin other relationships, you know? So like maybe that's a part of that conflict, is his it messed up that relationship with his wife. In therapy he analyzes the analyst. Get over here. Yeah. It'll be easier to be like stringing the clues along once we have a better sense of the structure of the case itself. Should a reveal be why the split? Because Sam could be coy about it and not talk about it. Yeah, I think that should be a reveal. You're totally right. We should either reveal because they like meet again, or he needs to talk to her or something. Like we could have a redemption story here where like maybe, I don't know, maybe they're able to return together again, or maybe that's too much of a happy ending, but like, and not here, it wouldn't happen here, but like by the end of the show, like he's able to let that go and join with her again, but she, like, it could be a point of conflict, like she's moved on with her life, and maybe it could come right after the stuck inside with the fam, or around here is like reveal why split with wife. I don't think a happy ending for Sam is a bad thing. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just like how much of that do you do? It's like, oh, he gets his dad back, he's not dead, and he gets his wife back, and everything's, yeah. But I'm not opposed to a happy ending at all. I just want to be clear about that. Stuck inside with the fam. Reveal why split with wife. Because maybe she has more information or something. At some point in here, mom has to open up for sure. But not about him like being alive, just about like, you know, her emotional state kind of thing. Mom opens up. Yeah, season. Season. What? You ever make a 1 like that and it kind of looks like a 2? A little bit. That's a little better. We know nothing. Dad dead. We don't have anything about the sister here. What are her goals again? Well, good question. Let's revisit her. What does she want? She wants to be liked by others, attention, love, to be accepted unconditionally. She needs stability, focus, contentment with who she is. She fears disappointing her mom. She believes act first, ask questions later. Look for the best in others. Her strengths are social awareness, blending in, getting what she wants, connections, quick-witted. She presents confidence. Her weaknesses are just she cares what people think of her. She's unfocused. She's stubborn, and she's too trusting. And she's like a bunch of different things because she wears a ton of hats. She's not like super skilled in one particular area, kind of like a jack of all trades. So maybe there's like a tension here for a while, and then like he lets her join in on the case, right? Sam asks Mare for help. You know, and that can happen somewhere in here. Like, none of this is exact for like an episode, but Sam can ask Mare for help, reveal why split with the wife. And just keep in mind here that this whole time, these are like the little reveals, and I mean some of them are bigger, but this whole time we have this going through, which is, if it would let me do it, our engine it continues to drive this, and you know it occurs like within each episode is like its own mini like engine that keeps ramping up, you know. Like here, and then here, just like ramping. Don't cover the text. Boom. going boom, 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 boom. Like, oh shoot, it's getting crazy. Whoa. And then it goes back to normal, you know? There's that going on. Should that be before or after the white reveal? It seems like Sam would need to open up to even consider asking Mare for help. I mean, maybe. Yeah, it needs to come in somewhere here. I do want to, like, involve Mare quickly. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, even though this I'm putting here for now, this could go even earlier, you know? Or she could, like, she's gonna still be involved and, like, helping him whether he wants it or not. It's just at, like, what point does he actually, like, ask for that and want that, you know? That's the question. That is the question, dear Watson. And then, of course, there's, like, each episode itself has, like, you know, a mini arc. Sort of thing, you know. Yeah, we get the idea. The engine could be, how's the case going? Maybe we don't have him going through like a case per episode, but it stays focused on that. Its own case keeps the attention. Well, that was my goal, is that the whole season would be following this one case, and like he's getting more interviews each episode, or he's getting like these different things coming in each episode. But like it's not until the end that he actually like gets to the bottom of something, and it's gonna lead to a bigger something sort of thing. Somewhere in here I do want to incorporate like the friend, what's his name, Ricky, the pastor friend. I still don't know if he is a good guy or not in my head, or if he's trying to help or hurt. Like what if he's secretly part of the Redeemers? That would be messed up, but he should be in here somewhere, you know. Somewhere in here, like chat with Ricky. Case. I hope Ricky's not part of the Redeemers. Yeah. I want it to be more than just family who are good guys. Yeah, me too. Me too. But anything's possible. The show is our oyster. What if at the end they take his son? Maybe that's too much because he hasn't like discovered that it's a lot of them yet. Or maybe they threaten his son. I was literally saying I feel like the son's just there to be kidnapped. Which isn't great. I think he needs more, like, just as a character right now. He's like my least developed character, like in my head. And I know he's a kid, but doesn't mean we can't do friend betrayal. Yeah. I mean, Boris could be a mole. But I like Boris. I don't even know Boris yet, and I like him. I only wanted to keep Boris because I thought he could be a good connection later on. like him still connecting back to the newspaper, but yeah. Boris? Betrayal? Question mark? Boris, you're not being a betrayer, are you? Now, Boris, come now. We don't want to betray, do we? Boris. Bad Boris. Not okay. At this point, I'm just trying to like put a thing on each thing, even though this is probably all gonna get like completely mixed around and, you know, put everywhere, but maybe here we can have some like some power shift. Some growth and power. The power. I've got the power. Cool. I mean, I feel pretty good about that. This feels like we've got a lot of like ideas of things that could happen, either in like, you know, a few episodes or in each episode. This I definitely think will move around, 100%. But between that and having like what we want the bigger like deal to be here, I think we are in a good place to start actually planning out the pilot, like getting into the actual pilot episode. Let me see what you're saying. Maybe we have one at his work that isn't Boris, but is one of the corrupted people at his job and is a solid friend to Sam. Yeah, we could also do that. I mean, he's bound to have other connections at work. That's true. It could either be Boris is still a bad guy and it's another person who's a connection who we didn't think would be a connection, or we have him, you know, just do another friend who's close but the betrayer. I kind of like Boris as the betrayer and like having a background kind of character that we didn't think was going to be at the forefront. He ends up like being a big help, or she ends up being a big help, and then we get more of her character later. Maybe it's a friend who we show has given Sam a few pick-me-ups now and then, so the betrayal feels worse. Yeah, I think and again, I'm kind of just saying this because Boris is the name I know. They're literally we haven't done any of the actual writing yet, but I think it would be cool to have like, we think this is the friend character and he's close, and we have a background character and we're like, is the background character the shady one? But it's Boris, and the background character ends up being like a big ally in the future. This many good people around, so we don't make this idea of forgive people, but then we write only people that only hurt him. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to understand what you're saying there. This many good people around, so we don't make this idea of forgive people, but then we write only people that only hurt him. Well, I think it only adds, the hurting him, I should say, only adds to like his growing distrust for people, you know, and his growing distrust of like what's going on here, of like, can people actually be trusted? We need to write a good amount to good people. I got you. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a balance if we want to keep it like, if the morality stays like a conflict of what is right here. Maybe this growth and power is his like, his taste of like evil, you know, his taste of like using it for bad. Taste of strength against others. Boris betrayal. maybe Sam kidnapped. And then maybe a cliffhanger here also is he gets a call from the big bad wolf. And it's like, huh, you thought you defeated us? That was merely just a branch of our faction. We're everywhere, and now we know you too. Sam. And he says something cryptic about his father, and that'd be cool. The idea of Boris in the background character is good, Boris being bad, but the other person who we didn't focus along is the good or hero that Sam needs. Yeah, let me write that down. Work friend. Another background. Work friend. Boris Baker, the betrayer. Coming in clutch. Neutral evil for the boss, we'll say for now. Hudson does need more of a character. Being kidnapped is not a character trait, or it shouldn't be. Yeah. No, I wasn't saying, or yeah, that's what I was saying. But I'm saying here that I think we could use Hudson like later, like if it was to in a later season to be like threatening his son, and then he gets really ticked off, and that plays into his evil side. But I was saying that we could have him kidnapped, like in this case, you know. Oh. Cause then we could do our little, we could link this like moment to the pilot, and we can make this part of like what opens the show. Is we were talking about this like interrogation, and like when he's interrogated, we see him using this power, but we don't know what it is yet. We don't know what's happening. And then we like, it's not till later that we realize the circumstances of what's going on here. Let me come right over here. Yeah, that feels really good, honestly. You know what doesn't feel good is the way this looks. You come over here. You get out of here. And you become... Boom! Okay. Honestly, a lot of good ideas here. And we are in a place where now, next stream, I believe, well, not next stream, but next show writing stream, we are going to start laying out the beats for the pilot. You know, doing this for the season is good, and now we can do this, like we can zoom in on this section here, like make a new chart, and like we're gonna put out what's actually gonna happen in our pilot, because we've got a good structure and we've got a good start right now of like where the show could all potentially go. So that's gonna give us a lot of things where we can put these questions in episode 1 that we actually already know the answers to, even if the audience doesn't. That scene being in therapy at the beginning of the show sounds good. Which one are you feeling right now? Well, I think the therapy should happen during that episode, but I kind of want to see, and maybe we'll write it and we'll see how we feel, but I really do want the show to start with a punch and with a what the heck just happened. And then like we'll give one answer to like, oh, he has some sort of power thing, and then get another like what's going on with the dad. And so those are like basic structures of what could happen, but we're going to really dive into that yeah, next time. But I'm really excited about that. Let me freaking save this page, gosh darn it, and go back to here. Excellent, wonderful. That was a solid, like, I was doing that for like almost 3 hours now, 2.5 hours of just brainstorming, but it got a lot further, which is awesome. So what I'll say is Super Gaming Texan, thank you for joining. I am planning, let me look at my calendar and let me not put it on stream because you guys don't need to know my schedule. I am planning on finishing Epic, and I know that the weekend doesn't work super well. I am finishing on pause. I am planning on finishing Epic this weekend. Hold on, let me stop the music and the no rain. Silence. I am planning on finishing Epic this weekend. And that will be good because I think I need to finish it. But then next time we're going to dive more into the show, and we're actually going to get into our pilot. We've been talking about this show as a whole. We've been talking about like seasons and characters and all this different stuff. And don't get me wrong, we are still going to like talk about that. We are not by no means done with that, but it's time to start putting ideas on paper of like, for a pilot, act 1, 2, and 3. Here's our beat sheet. Here's what's going to happen, and really create our template for what we're going to do. But that being said, until then, I hope that you have a lovely day. I hope that you have a lovely time. As always, watch something, read something, play a game, listen to music, do something that inspires you creatively and makes you feel and reminded of how cool story and creativity are. So that's my advice. I will see you likely Saturday. So yeah, until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. God bless and goodbye.